Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I extend a warm welcome to you all to this press event. To begin the proceedings, may I request the Honorable Prime Minister of India to deliver his statement to the press.
Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Trudeau, distinguished delegates, members, friends from the media, भारत के राजकीय दौरे पर आए
I'm very pleased to welcome Prime Minister Trudeau on his official visit to India.
हालांकि प्रधानमंत्री के तौर पर
Though this is his first official visit as Prime Minister of Canada, he has visited India in the past in 1983 with his father and former Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau.
Mr. Prime Minister,
Prime Minister, your visit
बहुत समय से
has been long awaited.
हमें प्रसन्नता है
We are very pleased
कि आप अपनी पत्नी और
that
बच्चों के
you
साथ
have come to India along with your wife and your children. I'm also very pleased that before our meeting today, you have had the opportunity to visit various cities in India.
वर्ष 2015
In
कनाडा की
2015,
मेरी यात्रा
my visit to Canada
42 वर्षों में
was
किसी
the
भारतीय प्रधानमंत्री
first
की
bilateral visit of an Indian Prime Minister to Canada after 42 years.
तब मैं वैंकूवर
At the time, I visited Vancouver, Toronto, and Ottawa,
कनाडा की जनता
and I was able to experience the love and affection of the people of Canada for India. I'm sure that Prime Minister Trudeau has also experienced the warmth and natural bonds that the Indians feel for Canada.
उन्होंने हमारे देश की
He would have experienced the diversity of our country and the vitality of our democracy. I'm sure of this. Friends, India attaches a great deal of importance to furthering its strategic partnership with Canada.
हमारे संबंध
Our relations
लोकतंत्र
are based on the importance that we attach to our democracies, to pluralism, to the importance of law, and to the mutual contacts between our people. From trade and investment to energy, from science and innovation to education and skill development, from the oceans to the space,
हर सेक्टर में
in every sector,
भारत और कनाडा का
India
एक
and
साथ
Canada
काम कर सकते हैं
can work together.
हमारी आज की चर्चा में
During
हमने
our
अपने
discussions
संबंधों के
today,
पूरे
we
आयाम की
reviewed all aspects of our cooperation
और आपसी
and
सहयोग
we
को बढ़ाने के लिए
identified concrete ways
ठोस उपायों
of
की
improving
पहचान की।
our cooperation as well.
सबसे पहले
First of all,
हम अपने सुरक्षा
we
सहयोग
agreed to strengthen our
सुदृढ़ करने
security
पर सहमत
cooperation.
हुए हैं। आतंकवाद और उग्रवाद
Prime Minister Trudeau and myself have also agreed to fight terrorism and extremism. This is a threat for our pluralistic societies, and in order to fight terrorism, it is very important that we work together, that we cooperate. Those who misuse religion for dividing people, there is no place at all for any people like this. And therefore, the sovereignty of our states, the unity of our states, all those who challenge these, we cannot tolerate them. We have decided to fight terrorism and violent extremism. Prime Minister Trudeau and myself have agreed on this. Our national security advisors as well have had a meeting on this, and they have finalized the framework for cooperation on countering terrorism and violent extremism.
Friends, we have also taken stock of our economic relations. We have agreed that India and Canada must further deepen their economic relations. Indeed, India's growing and sustainable economic progress and economic reforms provide ample opportunities. The Canadian Pension Fund has become an effective partner in India's infrastructure development. For our economic development, it is important also to develop an institutional framework. In this regard, in order to give a final shape to the bilateral investment and promotion agreement and the comprehensive economic partnership agreement, we have requested our negotiators to double their efforts. Today, we will also have the opportunities of meeting the CEOs from both the countries. Canada is an important destination for Indian students in terms of higher education. Today, there are over 120,000 Indian students in Canada. Thanks to a memorandum of understanding on higher education, which has been renewed today, allows students from both sides to have greater exchanges between themselves. I have also requested Prime Minister Trudeau to further promote the movement of skilled professionals and to make it easier. This will be beneficial for both the countries, and it will also make the Canadian economy more competitive. There are ample opportunities in technology partnerships between our two countries. Our scientists and our researchers have been coming forth with new technologies and processes. These can be extremely constructive and effective for India and Canada. Canada was a partner country for our technology summit in 2017. In the area of information and communication technology, our governments have decided to further deepen our cooperation. Canada is an energy superpower, and it can meet our growing energy needs. Today, we have decided to further expand our energy dialogue and have decided to develop a roadmap for the future of our energy partnership. The strength of our cooperation in atomic energy is seen through the seamless supply of uranium. Today, we are adding the dimensions of nuclear science, technology, and innovation to this cooperation. Friends, my friend Prime Minister Trudeau and myself have exchanged views on the regional and global situations. We also discussed the situation of Afghanistan. We have decided that we must continue to cooperate and to provide the Afghanistan government and its people ability to deal with the cross-border terrorism and to develop a peaceful, secure, prosperous, and democratic Afghanistan. The independence of navigation in the Indo-Pacific, the dangers of proliferation related to North Korea, and the re-establishment of democratic institutions in Maldives were other areas we discussed, and we have common views on that. We have also decided to further work on capacity building of other countries in order to promote peace. Friends, people-to-people connectivity are an important basis for our strategic partnership. The achievements of the Indian
उपलब्धियों पर हम सभी भारतवासियों को गर्व है। मुझे यह देखकर खुशी है
their
कि
achievements
प्रधानमंत्री
in
उनमें से
Canada.
बहुत
I'm also
हमारे
very happy
साथियों को
that
अपने
Prime
साथ
Minister
इस दौरे
Trudeau
में
brought several
लाए
of
हैं।
those members
कनाडा स्थित भारतीय
along with
समुदाय
him
के
on this
साथ मित्रता
tour.
और सद्भावना के निर्माण हेतु
We
हम
are
प्रतिबद्ध
committed
हैं
to developing
और भारत
friendship
की
with
प्रगति और विकास
the
में
Indian
उनकी
communities based
सक्रिय
in
भागीदारी
Canada,
चाहते हैं।
and we would like them to
Mr.
play
Prime
a
Minister,
more active role
भारत
in
कनाडा
India's development
साझा
and
मूल्यों
progress.
की
Mr. Prime
एक
Minister,
स्वाभाविक साझेदारी है।
in India
मुझे
and
दोनों
Canada
देशों के बीच
are
अधिक
natural
मजबूत
partners
साझेदारी
given our
और
common
इससे
values.
हमारे दोनों
And
देशों के
therefore,
उज्जवल भविष्य की
I have
आशा
full
है।
hopes for
बहुत
the
बहुत
bright
धन्यवाद।
future of both our countries.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the Prime Minister of Canada to deliver his remarks to the media.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'd like to begin by thanking our host, Prime Minister Modi, for the warm welcome he has extended to our team, to the entire delegation. As many of you know, the Prime Minister and I have met many times prior to this visit. From the COP21 Environmental Conference in Paris to several G20 meetings to the Nuclear Security Summit in Washington, and just a few weeks ago on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. After all, we share not only a rich history, but a set of values that encourages a natural friendship between our two countries. Prime Minister Modi, it is such a pleasure and a privilege to finally be with you here in India, and I look forward to continued partnership for the years to come. I'm glad to say that we just wrapped up productive meetings during which we discussed issues of mutual interest in the future of the Canada-India partnership. As you saw from the Prime Minister's words, many topics were on the agenda this morning, and instead of repeating all of them, I'd like to focus on three specific areas. First, we talked about how we can work together to create growth in a way that benefits Indians and Canadians alike. L'Inde est l'une des économies qui connaît la croissance la plus rapide dans le monde. Le pays a su consolider sa position comme puissance économique et chef de file mondial dans les domaines de l'innovation et de la technologie, pour en nommer quelques-uns. Nous avons la chance d'approfondir notre partenariat et de réaliser le potentiel inexploité de nos liens commerciaux tout en renforçant l'autonomisation des femmes. Plus tôt cette semaine, nous avons fait un grand pas dans la bonne direction lorsque j'ai annoncé $1 milliard d'investissement entre le Canada et l'Inde qui mèneront à la création de presque 6 000 bons emplois pour les Canadiens. Earlier this week, we took a major step in strengthening our economic relationship when I announced $1 billion in two-way investments between Canada and India, which will create 5,800 good middle-class jobs back home in Canada. Now, this is great news for both Canadians and Indians. Whether it's a Canadian firm exporting to India or India's global companies creating jobs for Canadians, we all win. This is a vote of confidence from the Indian business community in the future of the Canada-India partnership. As Canada looks to diversify its own economy and looks for new opportunities to do business beyond its borders, India is a natural partner and a trusted friend for commercial cooperation. To this effect, Prime Minister Modi and I welcomed the conclusion of and progress on cooperation agreements in areas such as civil nuclear science and technology, information technology, automotive sector cooperation, intellectual property, smart cities, and customs enforcement. That said, a renewed economic partnership must create jobs and help families get ahead. As governments, we have the responsibility to set the right parameters for economic relationships to flourish in a way that benefits everyone, not just the wealthiest few. I know that Prime Minister Modi and I are united in that ambition. Ensuite, nous avons discuté de notre engagement à lutter contre les changements climatiques. Le Premier ministre et moi savons que l'économie et l'environnement doivent aller de pair. Nous avons parlé de l'importance d'accélérer la transition mondiale vers des sources d'énergie abordables, fiables et durables. Nous avons convenu de collaborer à des travaux de recherche et de développement. Nous avons aussi décidé d'étendre la portée du dialogue ministériel Canada-Inde en matière d'énergie à tous les secteurs énergétiques qui pourraient faciliter l'accès à de l'énergie propre en vue de la 4e réunion qui aura lieu cet automne au Canada. Soyons clairs, les changements climatiques représentent le plus grand défi de notre époque. Le Canada et l'Inde ne sont pas seulement en position d'agir, on peut mener la charge sur la scène internationale. Nous restons fermement résolus à mettre en œuvre l'accord de Paris dans son intégralité pour que nos enfants et nos petits-enfants puissent profiter de tout ce que notre monde aura à leur offrir, et ce, pendant des générations. Lastly, we discussed deepening and strengthening people-to-people ties. Canada is home to more than 1.3 million people of Indian descent. India and Canada are united not only by their common ambition to create more opportunities for people to get ahead, but by a shared set of values. Values like respect for the democratic tradition, pluralism, and diversity. But while our history is something we can all be proud of, I am most inspired by the prospect of our shared future. The youths of Canada and India are growing closer every day, and that gives me great hope in what we will be able to achieve in the years to come. Last year, about 125,000 Indian students chose to pursue their studies in Canada, making India the second largest source of international students for Canada's universities, colleges, and schools, and we expect this record number to keep growing in 2018. Ce n'est là qu'une des façons dont le Canada et l'Inde se rapprochent de plus en plus à chaque jour. Ces étudiants deviennent rapidement des ambassadeurs de la relation qui unit le Canada et l'Inde, puisqu'ils nouent des liens durables entre nos pays. Après cette visite d'une semaine, je peux dire avec certitude que mon gouvernement est plus déterminé que jamais à élargir et approfondir les liens entre le Canada et l'Inde. Et les 11 visites que nos ministres ont effectuées durant les 2 dernières années en témoignent. So I am pleased with the important progress we've made on issues of mutual interest during our meetings. And once again, I want to thank our host, my colleague, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for his hospitality. And of course, thank you all again for joining us today. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Excellency. This concludes the press event. Thank you all for joining.
So